This is Hannibal from the Hannibal TV on YouTube, coming at you from beautiful Wichita, Kansas, where we're getting weather today that would be the equivalent of spring weather where I'm from in Ottawa, Canada. So I'm happy to be out in the sun where you can walk around with a t-shirt today. But let's jump right into the news. Listen to the Wrestling Observer radio this morning. Dave Meltzer mentioned as far as this new lawsuit filing, which is an update. They've added something like 34 pages to these Janelle Grant filings that were not in the original lawsuit. Again, this all went in the news conveniently yesterday, same day as the Royal Rumble. If the judge decides that this is not good enough to have an actual new law, because she had an issue. She didn't go to the police. She went to arbitration. She settled it. She agreed to a settlement just like all the others did. The difference between her and the others is she talked about it. In fact, some very specific information came out about her non disclosure agreement, where basically she broke her non disclosure. So she only got 1 million of the 3 million she had agreed to. In other words, she wanted her cake and to eat it too. So, in other words, they are now trying to get around having this non disclosure agreement issue be settled in arbitration by arbitrators. And they wanted to go to a public hearing. However, a judge will now have to decide whether there's been enough evidence that's been presented for it to go to a hearing, or the judge might say, no, the agreement here was for it to go to arbitration. It's going to have to go to arbitration, where they will very likely find that she broke the arbitration settlement agreement. So it might not be very good for Miss Grant, who, by the way, only has 3 pictures in existence. The one to the far left is from a movie she was in 2006. She's about 45 years old now, so it's safe to say that all the pictures of her are from around 18 to 20 years ago, and there's only 3 in existence, which to me is a huge red flag. For the Royal Rumble, the show was 4.5 hours long and had only 4 matches. There was a lot of commercials on the Royal Rumble, apparently, according to Dave Meltzer. A lot of commercials. So again, it's supposed to be a pay-per-view. I don't know if these are WWE commercials or WWE sponsorship commercials, but there was a lot of time in between the matches. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't even try to watch it. I just watched the highlights. This is very interesting, though. Apparently, for the main men's Royal Rumble went over 80 minutes. And at one point in time, it was supposed to be a new entrance every 2 minutes. It was not consistent for getting a new entrance every 2 minutes, and they started shaving that 2 minutes down before the end. And then apparently for both the Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair entrances, they were both almost 2 minutes long. So in theory, a new person should have come out as soon as they hit the ring. But for whatever reason, again, and this is why I don't like wrestling anymore. It's more about the show than the actual nuts and bolts of the match. So basically, if certain people that are bigger stars want to have a 2 minutes entrance, then that's not going to count for them. But for a regular person, the rules are different. Anyways, this could very well be the longest match in WWE history. There was one match between Bruno Sammartino and Waldo Von Erich, the kayfabe father of my good friend Lance Von Erich, who I just interviewed, that supposedly went over 81 minutes back in the 60s. However, there's no way of knowing if that was a legitimate time or a kayfabe time. And here's something else I don't like about today's wrestling, and I don't mean to complain, but apparently Drew McIntyre was very angry backstage legitimate, and again apparently stormed out of the arena screaming and cursing because he was upset somebody in the Royal Rumble was trying to outshine everyone else. You know what you would do in the old days, in the days when the wrestlers were actually tough? There still are some, but it's so much of a show now. If somebody is doing stuff like that, you would just rough them up. You would just rough them up, but now you'll just throw a temper tantrum backstage after. Could you imagine Haku, like, if someone was trying to like outshine a match when Haku was in there? Haku would just put him in his place. Back when the wrestlers were men. Now most of them. I mean, it's clear why Brock Lesnar. I mean, he's still a man, but they're not going to bring him back until this Grant lawsuit is settled because she's trying to implicate him in the lawsuit. Which again, they were trying to say that Vince was trying to use Janelle Grant as a pawn in Brock Lesnar's contract renegotiations. I mean, Brock Lesnar, a guy that could pretty much get whatever woman he wants. And again, he didn't end up having sex with Janelle Grant. So why even bring it up other than just to create talk? Because he didn't end up having sex with her. He did re-sign. And in all honesty, the way women are, they like big muscular guys overall that are rich, that are super rich. And well, they may not all be like that. A lot of them are. I don't think Brock Lesnar needed needed Janelle Grant to get laid. Keep in mind, Brock Lesnar is married to Sable, for crying out loud. Apparently, Triple H did not take any questions at the Royal Rumble press conference, so he was not obviously asked about the latest Grant allegations. I tried to watch this press conference, and it's just basically them sitting there putting themselves over on what a great show it was, blah, 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 blah. The funny thing about this press conference is apparently they announced an attendance over 70,000, but they put a graphic up that there was 65,000 in attendance. Meltzer says both numbers are likely fake, but there was definitely a lot of people in there. It looks like it's probably going to be Gunther versus Jey Uso and Cody versus John Cena at WrestleMania. Again, is that really at this point? I mean, I hope The Rock comes back for a match, but is this really a WrestleMania worthy of 2 nights in a stadium? Which supposedly there's about 35,000 tickets sold right now per night for this stadium. It could hold up to 60 something thousand. It's just interesting. It's like, do we need 2 nights? Gunther versus Jey Uso and Cody versus Cena. I mean, they're going to have to start filling in the card a lot better than that to have it spread into 2 nights. I know people love the concept of WrestleMania, but to me, they better start pulling out the stops from somewhere. Meltzer also says that WWE claiming Alexa Bliss, who came back in the Women's Royal Rumble, was a last minute thing. He brings up that he is skeptical that that was actually a last minute thing of her coming back because she had numerous tweets hinting she was going to come back. And they also released a new shirt of hers. So for whatever that's worth. And another, like, I don't, who really cares in the end? The other interesting thing is they did a thing where Jordan Grace was trying to say she was going to be at her mom's birthday and would not be in the Royal Rumble, and she was in the Royal Rumble. I don't know what the point of that was. They did confirm she is with the WWE now. WWE is bringing back Evolve, company that used to be run by Gabe Sapolsky that went bankrupt, and WWE bought the footage from the original company. The Evolve show is going to air head to head with Dynamite on Wednesdays, but it's going to air on Tubi. And this is going to be the wrestlers that aren't quite ready for NXT. Now that NXT is on the CW, it's going to be the greener wrestlers from NXT, and WWE ID prospects. Mike D wants to see Rick Martel and Strikeforce in the 2025 Hall of Fame. Well, Triple H is the one that decides who's in the Hall of Fame now. Dave Meltzer confirmed that. He also decided last year. Another and who they're kayfabing it that he's in control of it, and wrestling is supposed to be all about kayfabe. That's the thing. Someone says Janelle Grant just wants more money. She deleted all of her pictures, and again, she did hire a publicity firm that used to represent both Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Big Money Mike, I am wrestling again May 3rd at the ECW Arena. You can see me on the top row there for One and Done TWA. And Ric Flair is going to be on that event. Tessa Blanchard's supposed to be on that event too. John says they don't care about matches. It's all about repeating angles and talking for 45 minutes. I agree. And again, why did we have to sit through Kevin Owens against Cody Rhodes again, that lost to Cody Rhodes every time they've wrestled and got beat up by Shawn Michaels last weekend in San Antonio? It's like, to them, it's like, we just don't care about trying to make it interesting. Nobody in a million. Why not have Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes again? Then there may have been some doubt. I guess they just didn't need it. They didn't need it, so they just gave us. To me, that was a very lame match. Malik is happy. Jey Uso won. I mean, to me, I hate the whole leg slapping super kick stuff that he does nauseatingly. I would have rather seen Cena win it, or The Rock win it, or even Roman Reigns. To me, I mean, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. And again, it's their choice who they want to make win. But to me, again, he won, and he's not going to challenge for the title that's over. He's going to challenge for Gunther's secondary world title. And if you don't believe it's secondary, Cody Rhodes beat him on the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view clean not too long ago. So why anyone would want to win a Royal Rumble and challenge for a secondary title against Gunther is a far lesser star than Cody. I mean, that's just another non-believable thing to me that takes me out of it. May 3rd, as I said there, I'm going back in the ring, ECW Arena, Philadelphia, for TWA's One and Done show. I'm wrestling. Super crazy. The other interesting thing about this show is Ric Flair is going to be there. They've announced. And Shane Douglas is also on the card. So I find that pretty interesting. Jey Uso versus Gunther for the 4th time. Give me a break. To me, that's not something worthy of dragging WrestleMania out to 2 nights. I'd rather see. I honestly, here's something serious, and this is just me. I would have rather see Goldberg come back and win the Royal Rumble and challenge Gunther. That, honestly, for me as a booker, that's what I would have booked. I would have had, like, I'd rather see Gunther against Goldberg at WrestleMania. That's just me. I could care less about Uso, but that would have made sense because they already started a feud. Why Goldberg would have picked Gunther, because to have Uso, it's like, I could either challenge for the big belt that Cody Rhodes has, that is the belt with the most value in all of wrestling, or I could challenge Gunther. Again, they're probably still going to have that at some point, but to me, like, there wasn't that many surprise. What, Nikki Bella came back after being gone 3 years. Woohoo! It's not like she was gone that long, and it's not like she's that hot right now. She just, the biggest news about her in recent years, and I'm not saying it's not a good idea to bring her back. She's far more over than most of their women, but like, the most she's been in the news for is the domestic disturbance stuff between her and her husband. But anyways, guys, I wish everyone a wonderful